heading for inwards with a bunch of mates somewhere in northern Europe. We decide to hike to this old abandoned Cold War era military facility. Head to the facility after 2 days of hiking. Shit is cash. We spend the day exploring and plinking birds with 22s. By nightfall, we set up a camp on one of the empty warehouses. We go outside, set up a campfire, and start making a stew. All of a sudden, we hear the loudest and weirdest roar I've ever heard. We all shit ourselves, grab our rifles, and stare into the darkness. Something is moving about 100 meters out. We hear it rushing through the woods, into the facility area. We stand there, silent, listening, and then it stops. And suddenly, it is dead silent all around us, just the stew slowly boiling on the fire. We look at each other and have a brief chat. We decide to carry on with making the stew. Next morning, we wake up and start packing. Everyone is making jokes about how we got scared about some bear, etc. My buddy sees something lurky on the top of the biggest facility building. We try to have a look at what it is, but it's too far away, some 200 meters maybe. And it's just standing there, with 2 legs, probably staring at us. The thing is huge, maybe over 7 feet tall. I reach for my binoculars to have a good look at who is trolling us with a ghillie suit. Just as I find the binos, my mate starts shouting. I look at the creature, or whatever it was. It seems to be running via the facility wall like a lizard, very, very fast. By now, it is clear that it is not human, nor any animal I know of. It disappears behind the one big bunker structure. We decide to nope the fuck out of there. We're scared shitless, even though it's the day. As we were hiking back, we don't take any breaks before nightfall. As the sun sets down, we make a camp and start preparing supper. Everyone's a little tense and we try to joke around. We decide to do guard duty during the night. My shift is 1 to 3. Birds are singing like crazy. They do that during the night here, and I managed to see a lone rabbit hopping around a campsite. I would have popped that fucker, but I wanted to let my buddies rest. Suddenly, the bird stops singing and the rabbit stops, raises its head like it's listening to something. The rabbit nopes the fuck out of there very fast like it's running for its life. I feel very uneasy and flick on my flashlight and shine it towards the darkness. I'm hoping to see a glimpse of a fox, etc. that could have explained the strange behavior of the other animals. But the forest around us seems empty. Just as I'm pointing the light out, I see something move behind the bushes around 100 meters away. It was something big. I shine the light directly at the bushes to try and get a look through my 10-22 scope. I managed to see something moving there, and I believe I saw a pair of yellowish eyes. Then it stands up. I don't know to this day what the fuck it was, but it was a hairy looking, very dark, and had a face. The face had a lighter colour, and there were 2 yellow eyes. The thing was around 7 feet tall and somewhat human shaped. Although I didn't get a very clear look with my shit-tier flashlight, I was only 100% sure that that thing wasn't human, so I started panicking, raised my gun and lit that fucker up. I emptied the whole 25th Butler Creek mag in about 3 seconds, didn't even aim. My buddies woke up and started shouting, and it was all chaos for half a minute. I tried to tell them what happened as fast as I could. Having dropped my flashlight, I didn't know if the creature had been hit or if it was there anymore. One of my buddies picked up a light and directed it at the direction I was pointing my gun at. And there it was. Just standing. Suddenly, the thing kind of just falls down and starts slithering towards us, making no noise at all. We start screaming, grabbing our packs and guns and start noping out of there. We must have ran like 10 kilometers straight before taking a break. All of us were shaking. We didn't share a word. We walked the rest of the way to the public campground area, in DEFCON 1, weapons ready, and listening to every crack. I've never been as happy as I was when I saw some German tourists grilling sausage by their RV. They were all like, what the fuck? When we exited the woods with guns in low ready stance. We said nothing, walked to our car, pretty much breaking every speed limit on the way. We talked about the thing on the way home. None of us knew what it was, but everyone had seen it, and everyone was convinced that it was not human, nor animal, of any sort. We decided to stay away from the woods for a while. Problem is that the wildlife around here is scared of people, even children. And there hasn't been a bear sighting in over 80 years. We decided to be tough guys, to find out where the hell the thing was. This time, we would go with 3 ATVs, in case we'd have to bail out fast. We took 2 cameras, 3 08s, and 2 1276s with slugs. There are 4 of us, by the way. A lot of survival gear, and one of my buddies managed to get a Gen 2 NV camera. We also had 7 pipe bombs, black powder, and 2-inch iron tubing, with caps at the end, plus a visco fuse, in case the shit got out of hand. It was kinda like a lame fake operator tier shit, but we thought we'd get famous and shit if we actually killed it or got footage of it. Anyways, we entered the woods with our gear and headed for the facility. Again at the facility, everything looks normal and the birds are singing again. No sign of anything abnormal. We decided to map the surrounding area and look for anything suspicious. Nothing was found. We make camp at the very same warehouse as we did the last time. Night falls, and everything is still normal. You have guard shifts during the night, but nothing happens. Next day, we start exploring the woods area around the facility. We find a peculiar pile of dead trees. Looks like someone had hauled them here. We take a closer look. The trees are arranged in a fashion similar to a huge fucking bird's nest. In the middle of the nest, there is a half-rotten moose carcass and a shitload of other animal bones. We start quietly doping back to our campsite. We park ATVs next to the warehouse and keep our camp in. We enter the camp warehouse and see our camping gear all torn up, the somewhat expensive cameras smashed to against the floor, food taking and sleeping bags torn to pieces. Fuck. We take everything we could, in like a minute, and start driving the hell out of that Dodge. It's evening by the time we get back to the public campground. A police officer stops us by the gates and checks our gun permits. The officer proceeds by asking whether we wanted to volunteer for a search operation. ATVs would be much appreciated. Some hiker had apparently gone missing in the nearby forest, 20 kilometers from the facility site. We look at each other and shake our head. One of our buddies quickly says something before being late, and we drive out of there. The dude who went missing was never found. We decided that we wouldn't go ids wooning in that part of the country anymore. There you go. The dude who went missing was actually found. Local police released it to the media. Missing Thai berry picker, found dead in Lapland. Cause of death appears uncertain. No crime suspected. A 38-year-old Thai man who was in Finland to earn money picking berries was found dead in the forest of Salla, in the east of Lapland, on Thursday, after being missing for 2.5 weeks. No crime appeared to be involved with the death. Police investigator Olli Mortola said that the deceased had appeared to have been dead for a long period of time. The cause of death remains unknown, pending forensic autopsy. There are no cliffs or other high places around near where the body was found, which was seen to rule out fall as the cause of death. The body showed signs of external damage, which is probably caused by animals, and may have been inflicted post-mortem. Police resumed the search for the man on Wednesday, after a woolen cap was found in the yard of a house. We assumed that the cap belonged to the missing man. We also assumed that the dog had brought the cap from the forest in the yard, Mortola said. The body was found by soldiers, a short distance from the road between Salla and Kemjarvi. It was located 3 kilometers from where he had gone missing. The terrain has plenty of bush. One had to look very carefully to see the body, Mortola says. The man disappeared on the 26th of July after picking berries for 3 days. He was last seen at 9 p.m. on the side of the road, waiting for a ride with his lodgings near the village of Kursu. He was in telephone contact with the picker's liaison before 9:30, after which his mobile telephone went silent. We are still trying to clarify the course of events that may make a more precise timeline. We are also interested in finding out what route the man took, Mortola says.